are live. My name is Benny Ferguson. This is a consciousness ascending presentation. This is Accelerating Your Journey, episode number 70. Hard to believe. They go by fast. We hope each of you had a fantastic weekend. We hope you were intentional over your weekend. We hope you evaluated your weekend as to how close to an alignment you were able to stay with the weekend that you were intending. Those moments that you were out of alignment, noticing that which moved you off center. How fast were you able to get back on center? All of those things which are critical practices of one who is aspiring to be a powerful, conscious creator that expands their awareness, expands their capacity, grows the muscle of seeing, understanding, interpreting that which is being presented in front of them, and recognizing and accepting that it's all a reflection. That it's all a reflection. And in so doing, in every present moment, you get stronger and stronger to the fact that you are creating and that it's all within your power. So, yeah, if you find value in this interaction and these offerings that we are presenting, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to check the description for ways that you can connect deeper, that accelerate the process of your growth and expansion. It's challenging to go this alone. This has been Benny's challenge for years, and this is one of the reasons why he does what he does on the back end of things as far as offerings, is because the biggest challenge is consistency. And consistency is supported, and for our part, through the different ways that we're able to be in closer contact with individuals. Those that are in the closest contact with us experience the greatest growth and expansion at the highest, most accelerated rate. The further you get away, similar to source, the further one's energy is away from their truth in source, the potential for lower vibration is greater. The closer the individuals are to us as far as contact, being in contact, the faster their awareness expands, the more often they are in a higher frequency state and more aware of that and more able to manage their frequency no matter the data that is coming in, constantly being offered through their physical senses. Their awareness expands at a faster rate and they become more responsible and more powerful at a faster rate. This is the connection through this mechanism. This is the private sessions. This is the Ascension Accelerator, the private community, is the epitome of this. For we're in contact with those individuals daily, almost daily. So that's the highest. But you can connect, become a part of the community, and come to find out what that experience is like. Know when we're going live on this platform, know when there's other offerings off this platform, and begin to learn more and more about the other things that we're doing, again, off platform, in which we are supporting individuals to not just grow and expand, but to accelerate the process. It's about accelerating the process for us, not just being a support or helping here and there. But again, this is episode 70, number 70 of Accelerating Your Journey. Let's talk about, and this is a topic that we started talking about. Hello, good morning, afternoon. Awesome that you're here. This is a topic that we started talking about, I think, the beginning of last week. And we glanced at the screen, everything looked okay. And then at the end, the screen was blank. And so it turns out that very little of the discussion was recorded. And of course, we weren't able to have the Q&A session through the chat at the end. But we thought it was important to have this discussion again. So we rescheduled it. So let's talk about the fact that true existence is in the unseen. True existence is in the unseen. Constructing a design is energy work. True existence is in the unseen. Constructing a design is energy work. We know as aspiring conscious creators, powerful conscious creators, you know this, but we still feel it important to talk about it. Conscious creators, you have to understand that if we cut to the chase, we get straight to the point, creation is an inner process. It's not an external process. And we know you've heard that, and we have repeated that many, many times, not just through this vessel, but through other vessels, of course. But it's still a hinge point for many, for most. Why? Because of the information flow in through the physical senses. It's so easy to get moved off center. It's so easy to get caught up in the distractions. The distractions being the effects of your creation. The conditioning says that the power is outside of you. The training from a child to now says that the power is outside of you. The power is in the parents. The power is in siblings, anyone who is bigger or stronger. This is where it starts. The power is in authority figures. The power is in, and you keep going, teachers, principals, bosses, jobs, these things that have power over you, influence over your life and your survival, that which is, and that who is in power over you, that has access to whether you are able to have money or not, resources or not, food or not. And it looks immensely like the power is outside of you. And that is how the mental goes. And that's established as an idea. It's established as a belief. It's established as a truth, even though it's not real, even though it's not true. And these ideas govern one's life from the moment they are implied to the point they become an idea in the child to the point where they transition. That the power, responsibility, all of these things is outside of the individual. And this is not true. This is not true. True existence is in the unseen. And there are so many examples of the unseen and the evidence of happenings in the unseen beyond the awareness of your physical senses. You know that there are sounds, right? There are sounds, there are frequencies beyond that of your perception of your physical senses. You have the whistle, the dog whistle thing, idea. You have the radio waves, the frequencies, your phones, your televisions, all of these things. Nothing is connected anymore by wires, right? But even with that understanding, that is right outside of your conscious awareness as to how it impacts your life, how the thought of these things influence or don't influence your life. But the fact that these exist, that they are real, means that there is a beyond the physical. And the question is, how far does it go? Well, we're not going to get into that now, but it goes beyond anything that you could fathom at this moment. But as it pertains to your life experience, you have to understand that there is existence beyond the physical. There is existence beyond that which you can perceive with any of your senses. Now, when you begin to engage your inner senses, the ballgame changes. When you begin to accept the fact that your inner senses, as it pertains to your specific life experience, comes first, the ballgame begins to change. Because then you begin to say, okay, I can image, I can feel, I can smell, I can taste, I can do all of those things inward when it applies to memory, right? I can remember my grandmother cooking my favorite food or a favorite dessert, and I can, with all of my senses, experience that thing. Even though she's no longer here, I can experience that inwardly, completely, with specificity, with a high level of specificity. I can experience the entire thing inwardly. But that doesn't really matter. Well, it matters completely, because what you have done is you have engaged the creative process, the creative faculties in the creation of an experience. Now, is your grandmother just going to immediately reappear and create the thing? She's not present anymore physically, so she's not going to create the thing, but you are creating that experience through another collaborative component, very, very closely or exactly the same, where you've had the experience of, wow, that tastes just like my grandmother used to make, or that tastes just like my mom used to make. You establish the experience by engaging in the inner faculties, because the inner, the non-physical, is the truth. The inner and the non-physical comes first. The inner, the non-physical, is what's closer and closer and closer to the truth of you in source. That is creating, that is a powerful creator, that is doing it constantly all the time. So as you begin to play with these things, and you begin to understand these things, and you begin to narrow down what we call your intentions, not for your life, just for the day. As you begin to narrow down your intentions for the day, right? What are your intentions for the day? What type of experience do you want to have with your children, with your spouse or partner? What type of experiences do you want to have at the store, at your job, in your business? What type of experiences do you want to have? How clear can you image them? Can you feel the feeling of the experience now, at this moment, inside of your mind and body? In doing so, you are engaging the creative process consciously, inwardly, and you are building the energy structure of the experience that you are intending. But in your mind and body, you have to let go of the fact, let go of the thought, the tag-along thought that I am intending to create this thing. You have to see it as I am experiencing it now. And in your experiencing it now, without any other thought, you are sowing it permanently as a physical experience. But you cannot, it's not the best practice to see or interpret a difference between the two. It's a mistake to do the inner work with the belief behind it that you are creating an experience. No, inwardly, it has to be the experience, period. So we're talking about manifestation, right? This is not exactly the conversation that we had at the beginning of last week, but this is the stream that we're in now based on the vibrational expression that those who are participating with their energies are giving us. So we're talking about manifestation. And in manifestation, in your desire to manifest, the desire to manifest the thing is holding the thing separate from you. The desire to manifest the thing is the energetic vibrational offering that you don't have the thing, that the thing is not present. No matter how hard you visualize, no matter how hard you try to get clear on your image, no matter how much you connect to the feeling, if all of this play and practice is undergirded by the fact that you are trying to create something, then what you are saying is that it's not present now. And that single key factor alone is keeping distance between you and your intention. That's why the I am statement is so powerful. I am the thing. The I am statement is now in the present moment. I am that experience. And you have to own that, whether it's physically present or not, because your inner being doesn't know the difference. Inside of the physical interpreting of the physical senses, the external facing senses, the awareness that a thing is real or not real outside of you is not present. Unless you communicate it through your mental, through your thinking, that it's not present. And the absence of a thing is a creation. Most see it as normal. Okay, I have this thing, or I have this thing, so it means something is not present, or I'm desiring a thing, which means it's not present. That's why I'm trying to find the thing, buy the thing, create the thing. Think about it when you're looking for something. When you're trying to find a cooking utensil or something of that matter, of that nature. You're looking for that specific thing for a reason. But when you entertain the idea of that cooking utensil or that garden tool, every time you image the thing, as you are researching it online, as you are walking through the store looking for the exact type you're looking for or that you need or want, when you're holding that idea inside of your mind and body, you're not seeing yourself walking around without the thing. You are seeing yourself with the thing, doing that which you need it for. In the moment, every time you entertain that idea, you entertain that thing that you're looking for, that you need, you are utilizing it. You are seeing yourself cooking with it. You are seeing yourself working in the garden with it. And in those moments, it's present. In those moments, inwardly, you are in the experience. That's what creates it physically. You're being the experience now in the present moment. And owning the fact that you are in the experience now, that it exists now, that the inner is more real than the external. And it is. And the minute you begin to perceive your experience and your life that way, the faster you will see manifestation occur. And there's another fast way that you're seeing it happen is when you're not offering any resistance to it. But most of you are not offering resistance to those things you deem to be small and insignificant. And that's why they happen quickly. While the things that you really, really need or want or perceive yourself to need or want that are attached to your survival tend to happen with huge gaps of space and time in between, or those things that you have been desiring for a long period of time haven't happened yet, haven't come to fruition yet, is because you're offering so much you're offering more resistance than you are the knowing and the certainty of the experience. That's why they have yet to physically materialize. Let's look at those unwanted experiences, undesired experiences. The fight in relationship not to experience a certain type of relationship, not to have or meet this type of partner anymore, to not have financial challenges, to not be in a not so great experience at a job or career. The not, the don't want to, is the focus. And every time you entertain that idea, guess what? You are having the experience inwardly. You're seeing it. You're interacting in that negative, low vibrational way with the collaborative components. You are feeling the feeling of that experience. And in that moment, you're not offering that you're trying to create the thing because it's not present. You are firmly in the experience, having the experience in the present moment, inside of yourself. And that is you engaging the integrative process perfectly to a T. And when you look around and you see the experience of those closest to you, and it blows everybody's mind how their friend can always find the same type of person in relationship. It started out so great, but it always ends the same way. How you have that friend or family member that's constantly striving to be in business, to create success for themselves, but they always fall a little bit short. It's because they're entertaining ideas and they are internally experiencing that which they do not desire more than they are internally experiencing that which they do desire. They're telling you the evidence of the experience is showing you the focus. And we understand that many of you are in transition, but it's about the awareness of how you're engaging the inner creative process and how you're doing it perfectly, often throughout the day, especially in the direction of that which you do not want, because that is how you have been conditioned to focus on, to fight against, to set up barriers against those things that are undesired. And in so doing, you are establishing your focus on that thing. And when you're thinking and feeling on that thing, you're not considering that it's not present. You are in it, internally, in the moment, and that experience is real. That's why you're feeling it. And that feeling is saying that this is real, this is true, and simultaneously you're establishing it and building it and creating the momentum for it in the next present moment. There are things that you do not desire, that you are passionate about it, that continue to happen with a level of frequency. Every month you have the experience. Every other month you have the experience. And this is the reason why. And these are evidence of manifestation. It's manifestation. It's evidence of your power to manifest, your power to create. Once you begin to do things correctly, in the correct way, and engage your inner creative process in the correct fashion. Again, it's the same process. It's the exact same process. It's just a matter of which direction you are facing. And it's a matter of conditioning and the establishment of a mental framework that makes it seem like it's such a challenge to begin to manifest those things that you desire. The relationships, the success, the financial resources, all of these things. It's such a challenge to begin to reposition yourself and recalibrate yourself to create an abundance of beauty in your life. But it's just conditioning that separates you. It's the disbelief that separates you. So many have guilt and shame attached to being successful, attached to being abundant in their resources and in their finances, that they have been taught and conditioned to. This is what separates you from it when you begin to try to turn in that direction. Think about the fact that many that grew up in certain and many types of religions that have shame and guilt around being successful and having an amount of money. The amount of money that you have in order for guilt and shame to come in is mythical, is mystical. is airy. What's the number? Or is it just the word too much? If I have too much of a thing, it's not good. If you have too much of a thing, you should be ashamed or feel guilty because you may be doing something wrong to someone else. You may be limiting someone else's ability to be successful. If you have too much of a thing, but there's no specific number, it's just too much. You shouldn't have too much. And when that guilt and shame kicks in, you begin to sabotage all of that effort. And then there are many who can't even get started moving in that direction because guilt and shame is so big in their internal that they're fearful of any type of success and they turn away from it. It's not the creative process that is limiting you. It's not your ability to create that is limiting you. The inner creative process is permanent and is constantly in motion. You are creating constantly, permanently. Whether you have a specific manifestation idea or not, you are creating through your color, through your tone, through your frequency. That is your most consistent offering. That which is limiting you, that which is separating you from your desires, from your ability to create, is your own mental makeup and the consistent vibrational state that you're offering. That's what separates you. That's what separates you. Benny his meditations are changing quickly. Now, they're just changing. He's going deeper. He's moving deeper as a result of his growth and expansion. He's at this thing all day long, pretty much. Even when he's off center, he's at it. He's evaluating what's going on and why, so that he can understand as much as he can, as quick as he can, so he can pass it along to you. He's doing it for himself. He's doing it for his life, but every nugget, every piece, every expansion in his awareness, he shares it greatly in the private community, but he also shares it outside also. And this weekend in his meditation, as he flooded each energy center and they were being expressed in the highest, it looked like, a brilliant resonant light. But it's not a single light. It's all of the energy centers fully open and the light flowing through them. But he wasn't that. He was the awareness that was cleaning and shining the light through the centers. And so once all the centers are clear and the light is shining through them, there was a stream of light straight up and straight down, and he felt anchored. He felt rooted in source with the brightness of the light. And then after a moment, you can begin to feel it, and he begins to feel it in his body to the point where it sometimes it can cause tears because of the energy. Sometimes it can just make you smile for no reason at all. And so he's shining the light, and he's seeing how bright he can make it without the image becoming distorted or without losing focus, right? And without the body tensing up, because he has to manage the tenseness of the body and staying relaxed in order to be able to see. But he's separate from all of this. He's the awareness that is doing this, and he can get close up to it, or he can be further away from it. And so he did that. Because his meditation changed to that, and it was prominent. He was saying, okay, I'm going to set my phone for every 30 minutes, not an hour, for every 30 minutes, and see how close I can stay in this space as I go about my day. Turns out he didn't really have to set his phone because it stayed prominent and powerful in his mind and body the whole day. And so he walked his day, and he watched how he observed the people that got close to him in his physical space. He observed how in shopping, the cashiers that he came in contact with. He was standing in line at one store, and another cashier said, had some of the people move to another line because this line was long. Another manifestation of that energy, he got moved to a shorter line. And then he watched the energy of the cashier that he came in contact with. And she was in a high space very similar to his. In another store, he's observing, seeing people watching him. Right? Seeing people seeing him. No conversations. And then it came to a point where a lady, out of the blue, he's getting bottled waters. Excuse me. And just starts asking him a question about a product that she was looking to get. Complete stranger. Energy. Frequency. Energy. Frequency. No specific manifestation desired, but watching how experience materializes in relationship to that which you are offering energetically, vibrationally. This is manifestation. So many think that manifestation is the money, is the car, is the job, is all the things that you set as points. But you're manifesting all along, all the time. We suggest that you step back for a moment and begin to establish yourself with awareness and understanding of the fact that just by your energy expression alone, you are manifesting. And watch that which comes into your sphere, whether it's conversations, disagreements, arguments, excellent times. Watch that which gets close to you and comes all the way into your sphere as experience. With the awareness and the knowing that these things are matching your vibrational expression and nothing more. And then begin to play and practice at being consistent. And notice, become aware of how your experience begins to level out with a level of consistency. And who's at cause for that? You're at cause for that. Because you're the one that knows that you are trying your best to be consistent. Set your phone every hour. Get yourself into a high frequency state. In the same state. Get yourself into the same space that you started in, that your day started in. And stay level. Stay consistent. And over days, weeks, watch how your experience levels out with consistency, matching, mirroring your vibrational expression. This is the realization and realizing of your power. You do this, you build the muscle with this, and then you begin to bring in your intentions. Some intentions, not the things that you perceive to be big, because there's more play and practice to do with that, because you probably have huge conflict to it. But these are the steps. This is the building of the foundation. And these are the steps to being able to move into the creating of those ideas that are big in your mind. Once you have established the certainty and the knowing of the creative process and how it works, then you can begin to identify what alignment looks like for an abundance of resources. What alignment looks like for an excellent relationship, whether it's familial or intimate or marriage. What does alignment look like when it comes to success in your job or career or your business? And because you've established the foundation, you can quickly move into those states. Establish yourself, anchor yourself in those states. And know that you are having the experience now. Not that you're trying to create it, but you're having it and you're being it right now. And that is what guarantees the physical experience of it. And you're able to do these things quickly and powerfully and with great resolve because you have built this foundation. So many of you have so much information. You really already have all of the pieces, but they're not connected through expanded awareness of experience. And this is why so many are so frustrated on this path. Because you have all of these pieces. It's like you have all the pieces to the puzzle, but you can't put the puzzle together. Or you have yet to put the puzzle together. And it's been 5, 10, 15, 20 years. We come in contact with people who have been at this thing for 20, 30 years, and they have all the pieces. You're not going to hear any more information, anything else that's different. The challenge is that they haven't put the puzzle together. But that's what we're passionate about. For those of you who have been at this thing for a while, not the newcomers, you still have a way to go. Those of you who have been at this thing for a while, you understand everything that we're saying, but you know that something's missing. You're not sure, you don't know why. You have intentions that haven't materialized in years. You have experiences that you're desiring to transform, but they haven't transformed, and it's been years, while you watch things that seem insignificant happen all the time, with very, very quickly. It's about establishing that foundation first, the building blocks, a firm foundation, and then begin to stack understanding awareness through experience, through doing the right things in the right way and piecing this thing together. And that's why we created the Accelerator, to speed up that process, because that's the single focus in the Accelerator, is to bring in all these pieces together and seeing it happen through experience. That's what builds the muscle. And you're stacking experiences, the stacking of the experiences and the awareness and the understanding that continues to grow and expand as a result of you being able to see in your awareness what's happening, how it's happening, and why it's happening, with full responsibility that you're creating in the highs and the lows, the good and the bad, and getting to the point where you don't see it as such, where you just see the creation of experience. No high, low, no good, bad, none of that stuff. It's just experience. What am I in alignment with? This is what I intend to be in alignment with. I need to do more of this to position myself for these types of experiences. And in that space, there's no shame, there's no guilt. You're not doing and communicating any of those things to yourself, taking you off center. Yeah. So we're going to conclude here. We're going to wrap up here. The internal, the unseen is the truth, family. The unseen is the truth. That which is outside of you is an effect. It's not a cause. Build the foundation of understanding. It's very difficult to try to begin to jump into those things that you really, really want without a solid foundation. All right. Thank you for those of you who have participated in the creation of this interaction with your energies. We drew greatly from you. Thank you for those of you who have found this recording and allowed us to be a support in that fashion. Be sure to check the description, connect with the community so that you're aware of what's happening on and off this platform. If you were inspired to an idea during this interaction, or if you have any questions that you would like discussed, place those in the chat and we will take a few moments to discuss those. I've been trying to, let's see. That is a beautiful name. We don't want to mess it up by trying to say it. Arzema. We tried it. We love you though. I've been trying to explain this to my 18-year-old. Yes, you can mention it. You can mention it. You can suggest it softly, but do not force it. Do not push it, because if one is not ready, you may have experienced this already. If one is not ready in their own personal, individual evolution, the barriers come up, the defenses come up. So be careful. Be careful with that. Be careful with the suggestion. Do it softly. Do it lovingly. Do it carefully. Hint at it. in relationship to their experience as a higher perspective, potential higher perspective. Don't position yourself, especially as mom. Especially as mom, don't position yourself as the authority, because with the 18-year-old, whether it's male or female, the defenses will come up. Do it softly, do it lovingly, offer it as a higher success perspective. Offer it as something that would be hugely beneficial for them, not because you said so. Otherwise, the defenses come up. So do it softly. Do it softly. M2, we love you. We're glad you're here. Absolutely, you aligned with this video. You aligned with us. Awesome. Thank you for being here. Do you have any questions, M2? Anyone else have any questions or anything you would like discussed for a few moments? Absolutely. Advanced Harmonics says the light fully came on, just softly listening and feeling. Again, we will say this. We've mentioned it last week. For those of you who are on consistently, for those of you who are on now, and not just with us, with any channel idea that you are participating in, try to zero in on the frequency that is being offered and not the information that you are hearing through your physical senses. The information that you're hearing through your physical senses is a fraction of what you're being offered. Try to zero in on the frequency, the tone of the messenger, and not just a message, and you will receive so much more. We hope that makes sense. How often do we go live? Right now we're looking at 4 times a week. So we will be back tomorrow at the same time, Wednesday and Thursday. If you have subscribed to this channel, you can check the channel, or you may get notified that it has like the upcoming. It shows like an upcoming on the page, and that lets you know when the next live session is coming up also. But also check the description, and this description in past videos, offerings that we have presented. There are free offerings that are there in which you can connect and be a part of the community offline, and because we have things coming up that we're going to be offering off this platform also. Let's see. Sonia says, I see myself in a loving relationship and I am doing things to make this happen. How can I live it when it is not happening? When you see yourself in a loving, well, let's do this. Let's do this. What we want you to do, and we'll kind of describe it at the moment, what we want you to do is to take a peek at the last time. Take a peek at an experience that is undesired that you know has been repeating in your life. And notice as you look back how often you thought about and felt about that experience. In those moments, you're doing everything right. You're not entertaining. There's no conflict. Think about it. When someone thinks about, we know you said relationship. When someone thinks about past relationship, didn't end well, the experience wasn't great, and they're determined not to have that experience anymore. The conditioning says you have to remember. You have to focus on it. You have to set barriers up. You have to know what you're going to say the next time this happens to you. You have to know what you're going to do the next time this happens to you so that you can stop it from happening again, so you can stop being taken advantage of or any of the things. That's what the conditioning has taught most people. So with that being the conditioning, as one goes about their day, they are so passionate about it that the thoughts come at random. And when the thoughts come, they entertain the idea of the past experience and all the things that they don't want to experience anymore. And in that moment, they are feeling the feeling of that experience without any conflict. They're fully believing in it because that has been their truth. Because they're not offering any resistance to it, they're not in that moment thinking, yes, this happened, but I would love this experience. This is the most beautiful experience that I can imagine, and I'm thinking about it, and I see myself in it in the first person, and I can see how I'm interacting with my partner, and I can see people around us interacting. I can see us interacting with family at family events and holidays, and I can feel the feeling of this beautiful interaction and connection. Nobody's doing that. They're fully engulfed in that which they do not desire, and they're engaging the inner creative process perfectly and precisely in the direction of that which they do not want. And the momentum is building, and that's what creates the consistency of experience. It's so powerful that one can leave out of a relationship and find the exact same relationship again and again and again. It doesn't look like it in the beginning, but as the dust settles, it's the same relationship, and then they end the same way. You have to take your eyes off of the relationship and look inwardly to see what you were doing in the engagement of the process. And what you were doing in the engagement of the process to create that experience is the exact same thing you need to do, but in the direction of that which is desired. So when you say, I see myself in love, in a loving relationship, that's what you need to do. But you need to do it in a way in which in your mind you're not thinking you're doing this to create something. As you are doing it, you have to begin to establish yourself in the belief, the knowing, the certainty that you are in the experience right now. And that which you are experiencing internally is the truth. And it's the only truth, no matter what things look like externally. That's how you do it. But play with it. Play with it. Do not entertain frustration or doubt or worry in your playing with it, because in your playing and practicing with this idea, you're building the muscle. You are conditioning yourself to the knowing of the inner creative process, to the interacting and engaging in the inner creative process consciously, and in the establishing of the feeling and the knowing that that which you are doing and entertaining inwardly is the truth, and this is not the truth. Those things at play is what manifest experience. Those things at play is what has always manifest experience. Again, no good, bad, right, wrong. It's how one engages their inner creative process that manifests experience. Your inner being source doesn't entertain good, bad, right, wrong. It's about the creation of experience, not the label of the type of experience. Thank you for that. Powerful, powerful. Play with that. Let us know how things are going. Talk self into feeling of the wanted experience. Well, it's not about talking yourself into it. It's about the mental, right? We understand that humanity has been conditioned to doing a thing to get something. You have to do something to get something. So you have to acknowledge that you don't have something so that you can do something to get it. I don't have a hammer, so I need to go to the store to find and buy a hammer. Right? That's the conditioning, the looking outside of self and saying, I need to do this to get that. And that's the acknowledgement that I don't have it. But you're also believing at the same time that the store has it. You've looked it up. You've looked on your phone. You've looked on your computer. You know the store has it, so you just have to go and get it. But in the initial, you are recognizing that you don't have it. But when you begin to engage the inner creative process, there's pieces to that puzzle that are not there. You don't have the certainty of a thing being at a store. You can't go get a relationship at a store. You can't go get money at a store or a bank that's not already connected or tied to your name. Right? You can't just go purchase healing. You can't go purchase the experience of oneness, of unity. And because you can't go purchase those things physically, you can't already know that they exist for you to go get. That is where the challenge comes in. But it's not a talking yourself into a thing. You have to get, this is the foundation again, after you play and practice in the establishment of understanding the process, understanding how to engage the process, and having witnessed through your own personal experience what happens and how your external begins to mold itself to what you were doing internally. Now you move into knowing and certainty that I am doing this. And when you begin to move into the knowing and the certainty that I'm doing this as a result of the building of the foundation, then you don't have to talk yourself into anything. Then you just make sure that you engage the process in the correct way as you have played and practiced to build the foundation. That's why we suggest don't try to do it with the big stuff, that stuff that you perceive as big. Play with it, with just having an excellent day. Not an abundance of resources because because my perception is that I am lacking in resources. That's difficult when you don't have that foundation. But when you build the foundation, now you have a level of knowing and certainty that I am creating this. This is how the process works. This is how you engage the process. And this is how you establish yourself in the experience of a thing internally. And you hold it to the point where you forget that it's not present external because you have been in it for so long and you are feeling the feeling and you're driving the car and you have felt the steering wheel, you have rubbed your hand along the dash and you have shifted the gears and you have pressed the pedal and you have cleaned the tires, you've washed the car, you've looked under the hood, you've done all of the things, you've checked the oil, you've done, Benny's dad is a mechanic. You've done all of these things as if it was present right now. You've done it internally. And you forgot, just as you forget in meditation, right? Just as you were in your meditation and you decide it's time to get up and it's been an hour, it's been 2 hours, you forgot, you didn't realize how much time has passed. Where you're in the experience to the point where you forget that it is not external reality. This is how you engage the inner creative process. And once you practice and play at doing this thing, it doesn't take huge time for you to get into that space. Those of you who are practiced and seasoned at meditating, it doesn't take you long to get into that centered space. You probably can do it very, very quickly. You probably can do it just walking around. You don't need to sit down and do all of the things. You can get yourself in that space as you're walking through the store. Those of you who are seasoned at it. And that's what happens. You grow the muscle. And you're growing the muscle of getting yourself into the experience of an intention to the point where you forget and don't realize that it's not an actual physical thing. And in that moment, when you're in that, you're doing everything right. You're engaging the inner creative process perfectly. And that is what establishes the momentum that creates the physical experience. That's what you have been doing in the direction of unwanted all along. And with wanted, but it's the same process. It's just now that you are becoming more and more conscious of the process and utilizing it consciously and intentionally. And because you're utilizing it consciously and intentionally, the resistance is coming up against you doing that because there's guilt and shame and fear around actually being successful, around actually having the things that you want, that you've been conditioned to. But establishing yourself in that space is to play and practice. And when you build that foundation, it's not something, again, that you have to talk yourself into. But that's why you want to build the foundation again. A lot of things get taken care of over the course of building the foundation. Thank you for that question, comment. It starts with the feel. It starts with from within. Yes, absolutely. I see my relationship with myself and how my life currently is as very positive and rewarding. Yes, this could be my relationship that I'm searching for. How about that? How about that? Isn't that incredible? Let's see, did we send that out? Where did we put that? No, our newsletter story interaction that comes out tomorrow is actually talking about how. Is it that? No, 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 no. It's the a short that we did from a past episode. And the crux of it is, at the end, is that your experience, and we're trying to remember and figure this out, your experience is not a reflection of, or how you see yourself. Your experience is not a reflection of that which you are seeing outside of you. Your experience is a reflection of how you see yourself. So yes, you're right on a key there. Right? You cannot experience something that's out of alignment with how you see you. If you don't see yourself as royalty and majesty, you can't have that experience. If you don't see yourself as wealthy and abundant, how can you connect with wealth and abundance? You're not aligned with it vibrationally because you're not mentally there. A beautiful relationship, you have to see yourself and have a beautiful relationship with self in order to manifest a partner that is a reflection of that. So you're right there. You're right there. And you came to that on your own. Being in this place, being in this space, you being in this space, being open to that, being focused on that specific idea that you're looking to manifest, you have allowed and are allowing greater understanding, higher frequency perspective come in that is alerting you that it has nothing to do with anyone else. It has to do with you. If you want a beautiful relationship, you have to see yourself as beautiful. If you want to experience love, you have to love yourself in the manner that you desire to experience externally. You have to be self-sufficient. You have to be the self-starter, the self-fuel of the love, of the recognition, of the acknowledgement, of the consideration, of the respect, of the honor. You have to see yourself as holy. You have to see yourself as sacred in order to come in contact with the experience. Do you see how we talk about the integrative process, engage in the integrative process, and that's exactly what that is, right? But engaging the integrative process is a holistic idea, and it's a blind spot that so many experience when you start talking about specific areas and specific things and making the connection, right? We were just talking about being the thing in mind and body. That is what creates the experience. And it's the exact same thing when you're talking about relationship as you get into the delicacy of it. If you want to experience a loving relationship, you have to be that love. If you want to be respected, you have to be the respect to yourself. You're first. You're always first. You're the center of your verse. You're all that exists, really. Everything outside of you is coming and going, including children, including spouses or partners. They're coming and going, moving in and out of your experience. You're the center of your verse. They're not. Powerful awareness, powerful recognition. Stay with it. Stay focused on that one thing. If you just focus on that one thing and establishing of your relationship, the relationship you desire, being aware of any resistance or conflict that you have internally to that relationship, centering yourself in the feeling of that relationship. Just focusing in that one area will reveal everything about the integrative process, about how you interact with the integrative process, how you establish yourself in an idea that actually creates the experience, the thing that you have been doing all along, and how to achieve and stay in alignment, because alignment is alignment, period. You can discover, understand, and realize everything about yourself internally by focusing in on one area, this one area of relationship. If you just stay with it and you keep asking the questions of what am I missing, what's next, how do I do this better, what is the most optimal way, what is the highest frequency perspective of where I am now and what I could be doing more of or better. The right wording to the question will come to you as you ask yourself, your inner being, for that understanding. And everything will be revealed to you, not just for that relationship, but for how the process works for every area of life. Excellent. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for your guidance. Awesome, awesome. I understand. Thank you for the reminder. Much love. Excellent, excellent. We love you. We love you. Thank you for the comments, for the questions. These segments of this interaction are powerful because they are coming straight from the participant in that which is highest and most important for them at this moment in their evolution as they play and practice on this journey. And these few nuggets, these few offerings support the continued movement so that one doesn't get stuck or bogged down in the questions or frustrated in the creation. It's about being open and being able to continue the movement forward. And that's what we are striving to be of support here through this platform as much as we can. We're thankful again for each of you in the support of the creation of this interaction. We're again thankful for those of you who have found this recording. Check the description again. Connect with the community outside of this platform so that you're aware of all that's going on. We love you very much. We will be back tomorrow. We will talk to you soon.